All right, all right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another amazing episode of Beyond Boardroom Business. I'm your host, Coach Stephanie, and today I have the honor of sitting down with Miss Wanda Sloan, a true leader. Wanda's journey is one of resilience, dedication, and unwavering commitment to the principles of democracy and equality. With a background in education and community organizing, she has dedicated her life to empowering others and fostering inclusive spaces where every voice is heard. Wanda brings a wealth of experience and passion to her work. Her efforts are driven by a deep rooted belief in the power of community engagement and the importance of fair representation of all citizens. So let's hear from Wanda about her journey and how she's making a difference. So, everyone, let's welcome Miss Wanda Sloan. Greetings. How are you today?
Good afternoon, Miss Stephanie. I'm doing just fine and glad you
Oh,
were able to help coach me through this experience. Thank you so much.
wow. I mean, when I read your bio, I was just so impressed and I'm so honored that you're able to allow me to interview you because you are a very, very busy woman. And I just want everyone to understand who you are and what inspired you to become the powerful woman that you are today. So,
Thank you for
is there
having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Most definitely, definitely. So can you tell me, Miss Wanda Sloan, what are your humble beginnings? What got you so inspired to become the leader that you are today?
Okay, and there's many influences that I've had. There's been many challenges, ups and downs in my life, as with anyone, that got me to where I am today. And I would say I am a listener, if you will, and a lover of our ancestral heritage. I love being a woman. I love being a Black woman. I love being in the room and in the presence of Black energy.
Mm.
And those kinds of things have always brought me to a place where, oh, I want to do that, or I want to be like that, or can I do this? That kind of thing. I was always soul searching, kind of, if you will.
Okay.
Um, Being born in the late 40s and being raised in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the civil rights movement, all the things that the activists that I love inspired me and helped me to just keep trying to grow and trying to do things that were helpful mostly to others. And I
Awesome.
also got that need to help really from my mother. My mother was a quiet warrior, and I kind of got that from her. Yes.
A quiet warrior. Wow, what a great um, motivator and mentor to be around your mother. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Did she did she know that she was grooming you to be the person that you are?
I really don't think so, Coach Stephanie. I think my mom just was a person that would do the best that she could. But my mother has been gone from this earth for 30 some years, maybe more. And yet today, uh, in various circles, there's always someone that comes to me, and as soon as they hear the last name Sloan, they'll ask me, "Were you related to Hazel?" And I say, "Yep, that was my mother." And so there are
Wow.
people that worked with her um, in the caregiving, nursing arena that still remember her today and remember that quiet yet knowledgeable, um, assuring voice. That's what she had. She could counsel people in a way they wouldn't even know they were being counseled. She could help people when they didn't even ask for it, but she knew what to do. That kind of instinctive nature of her. People don't forget that. I remember Maya Angelou once saying, people remember what you say, or they don't remember what you say. They don't remember what you do necessarily, but they remember how you made them feel. I
That's right.
think that is just so profound. So that was kind of like describes my mother, the things that she did in her life. Church of God in Christ, sanctified all the way through, but still being her own person. And that was important. That was important.
That's beautiful, and my condolences. How many role models or mentors did you have along the way to help you, inspire you?
Geez, so many. When that question comes up, and I can probably give a different answer almost every time because I've had so many. And it's all the people that you meet along your journey. And sometimes people are in your life for a season, right? But it's also for a reason.
That's
The
right.
universe kind of puts them there when you need them, even though you don't necessarily seek them out. Somehow they're placed right there in the nick of time. So I've had many mentors beside my mother. My grandmother was also one of those quiet warriors, gentle, but yet strong, right? But in terms of my career, I'll say, or my profession and being in education, I worked at a state technical college. I live in Beloit, Wisconsin, in the state of Wisconsin. And so I worked at a technical college. I've had several different jobs, but I stayed there probably the
Mhm.
longest, about 35 years. And so I was able to meet Maya Angelou. I was able to take my children to meet her, who I've always admired. Jesse Jackson, I was able to run a campaign for him when he ran for president. I loved, of course, um, Miss Coretta Scott King for her resilience and her ability to keep moving. And I think those are the things that stick out to me, especially these Black women that come through adversity despite the pain that they might have been in that moment, but they kept pushing. And I'm like, gee, because so many times you want to just stop. And locally, there were people in my community that saw more in me than I saw in myself. Right? There was the
Wow.
Mr. Walter Knight, who was our first Black city councilman, that always encouraged me to get involved and do things that I just was like, I can't do that. Mr. Knight, yes, you can. Miss Ametta McKnight, Dr. John Odom, an educator that I miss today, Dr. Kwame Salter. I had so many. I had so many people that just encouraged me, but I looked up to them. Yeah. So I've
That
had
is
many, many.
awesome. And do you think that you fully stepped into your calling?
Absolutely not. You evolve in life, right? If you're blessed to have some longevity, I'm 70 plus years old. I am still learning. I'm still growing. I'm still trying to take the edge off of things that get on my nerves. I'm trying so hard to be calm and patient and quiet like my mama and my grandmama, but that is hard, right? So I'm still not, let me just say this. I know that I love to organize. I know that I
Okay.
love to help people. Um,
Mhm.
in what ways I do that, I might not have found the specific recipe in order to do that. So I just keep, you know, pecking at it. Let me say it like that. So I do my
Oh,
best.
okay. And you're doing a marvelous job.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all of your success.
Thank you.
And I'm hearing a lot about the sisterhood, about women being together and embracing each other. Can you expand on how you feel about the community and, you know, women in particular, of how they work together?
Um, it's very important to me that women and Black women specifically
Okay.
uh, come together to work together to change things, to make a difference. Whether it's a single mother that has to navigate, you know, working, caring for the children, being a good spouse if she happens to have a spouse or a partner, and yet being somehow connected to the community. Those roles are hard to juggle. And we all just don't know how to do that in a way that is satisfactory. Let me say that. We always think, oh man, if I had done it this way, or if I could do this, or if I had, you're always wanting to do something better than you're doing it. At least that's my perspective, because some women, and Black women in particular, they're successful because they knew exactly what their purpose in life was, right? And they do that. I love them. I'm like, oh Lord, how do they do that? Um, for me, again, I'm still on that journey, still on that journey. But I did a program once, CoachSteffanie, called Sister to Sister and Brother to
Wow.
Brother, years ago, years ago. But it taught me so much to have people in a room, to have a conversation, an open
Mm-hmm.
conversation. And I learned so much, not only about what those sisters were not only going through, but what they were overcoming. Um, and they've overcome so much and they didn't even realize it. When you're doing things, you're just in the midst, you just doing,
Right.
and you don't realize sometimes what you've overcome to do the
Mm.
things that you do. And I keep thinking about resurrecting that kind of program because I'm going to say, in the face of COVID and
Okay.
some of the societal things that have plagued our community, we kind of lost some connection. And that I love connection. I love connecting people. Love connecting sisters to do those things that we know we're capable of doing. So that's important to me.
Definitely, because I truly believe that we as women, we can definitely collaborate and stop competing with each other. We can get so much further together. And there are a lot of different things out in society that are trying to keep us apart. And
Yeah,
I mean, like with these reality shows, different things is the in the music. I mean, it's just crazy out here. So,
yes.
how do you encourage women to collaborate as opposed to competing? Because I keep hearing, I heard it today, someone say something about can't work with Black businesses. I'm like, I was blown away. I can't believe people are still speaking like this. How can we come together if we're going to constantly, spit out that kind of garbage?
That's so critical right now. I think first we have to recognize that those barriers, those things that get in our way of cooperation, are planned. It's been this
Mm.
way. We have to first recognize that this is not something that just happened, right? This has been part of our journey as Black people for a long, long time, to separate, to discourage, to not work together. I think, first of all, it's just like being addicted to something. You have to
Mm.
first acknowledge that you're addicted to that thing if you want to change. I think the disconnect and this lack of cooperation is the same thing almost as an addiction. We have to recognize, right,
Ooh.
that it's there, it's been there to keep us apart. And until we know that, it's like saying, Kofa, you got to look back and keep moving forward. But you got to know that this was
Yeah.
a tool separate
Mm.
us as a people, to separate us as women, and to keep us from doing the powerful things that we know we can do. Right? When I
Mm.
think, for instance, of a Harriet Tubman, my Lord, How in the world did that woman just keep going back to save her people when half of them didn't want to be free, right? Or they were afraid to be free. So, secondly, I would say that there's a fear that we have to overcome. That fear of what will happen if I coalesce and partner with my sisters, right? How what will I say or what will I do in order not to look as though I'm um, how can I say it, too um, concentrating too much on, say, a specific group, like a woman
Okay.
or being black. We have to get over that fear. We have to come. We really have to overcome that and know that we should be proud to cooperate and not compete. That competition
Yeah.
is not part of our DNA. We got to understand that we are a cooperative people, and we must learn to work together in all
Yeah.
areas.
Yes. I love it. That is so true. And so, what's your take on voting?
Oh, that's interesting because I was trying to be as prepared and calm as I could be for this moment. And there's someone that I have helped for the last few years go through the ballot, talk about the issues, and then make sure she can get to the polls. And it happened today instead of like yesterday or 2 days ago when I really should have sat down and called her. And when she called me today, I was like, okay. And so going through that process, and I'm in part of the different organizations that speak to voters. So I've been involved in that effort probably since I was old enough to vote. I believe in voting, and yet I also know that there's a lot about voting that we still have to learn as well. We really have to identify those people who will vote for us and work for us once they're elected. And then we
Yes.
have to hold them accountable once they get into office. And sometimes, again, we do the first action. We go out and vote for those that we think are going to speak to our values and speak to our interests. But then once we check that box and put that ballot in for the next 2 years, we don't follow up with them and say, hey, are you still aware of this issue? This is why I voted for you. And what are you doing about that issue? But then again, and how can I help you do what I need you to do for me and my community? We don't do that part. Now, I'm not talking about everybody. I don't mean to speak in broad terms that everybody is somebody is doing it. I always say that no matter
Yeah.
how bad things look to me or I think this is not happening, somebody's doing it. Otherwise we wouldn't be where we are today. But
That is
that's
true.
I'm very involved with. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, what kind of changes would you like to see happen during your lifetime with the government?
I think from where we sit today, because of what we have experienced as Black people, if we're aware, if we're really watching, attention, since President Obama's election, there's been this pushback for equality. And all the things that we fought for, let's say back in the 60s and 70s, is being eroded slow. It's been a slow cooker, the slow cooker of taking back those things that we felt we'd never have to fight for again. So
Wow.
if there's any change that I want to see, it's that people that do know share that information with the next generations.
Wow.
Um, that we have to teach. We have to teach. No matter how we do that, whether it's in the living room, at the kitchen table with our own families, whether it's
Yeah.
within the neighborhood, whether it's in the church. Because when I think about church, I think, man, that's where we learned everything. We learned everything coming up, in the church. And things have just changed. But I think each one has to teach. If you know what and how to do. You must teach that to 1 to 100 to 1,000. You must reach out. That's really what I want to see happen. And I'm really cognizant of the lack of us telling our stories to each other. It's our stories, right?
Yeah,
Passed down from generation to generation that builds up a community, builds up a family. We got to tell our story. And like
that's
they
right.
say, if we don't tell it, somebody else will, right?
Well,
It's up to us. It's up to
right.
us.
So,
Yeah.
so what's your take on gentrification?
I'd say that again. You kind of broke up a little bit. What did you ask me?
Okay. I was asking you, what's your take on gentrification?
Oh, whew. Gentrification breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. Um, there was um, I'm going to say units of apartments that were established here in Beloit, Wisconsin during the Great Migration for Black people to come and work at one of the foundries in Beloit. So they came from, Alabama down south, and they came here to make a better life. As so many of our communities have in every city, every state, people left the South, right, during that period for a better life.
Right.
I was at this apartment complex. It's called the Fairbanks Flats. And it got to a point where the Fairbanks Flats were going to be demolished. A group of people and myself got together and decided, let's try to keep this historical marker, if you will, this historical building um, for this in this community. So I learned a lot during that process. It took about
Mm,
10 or 12 years
mm,
to get it to where it is right now, where it's been remodeled and people are living in them again. And families are in there again, just like when I was raised there, right? But
wow.
that was quite a process. However, to go directly to your question about gentrification, is one of those housing areas that when Black people first migrated here from the South, was the only place that we could live as Black people, as Black workers, right?
Mm, okay.
But then after a certain period of time, the powers that be want that site for whatever reason it might be. So it's no
Mm,
longer a place where only Black folks could live. Now everybody wants them, just like the downtowns that are being gentrified. People left those areas and went to the suburbs. Now they want to
right.
come back. Again, one of jewels, those jewels that the Black community had and owned and lived and thrived, are being taken away through gentrification. And
Mm,
people don't understand the history and they don't understand the purpose. So we're losing a lot of our history because the buildings themselves, our housing, is being either
yes.
demolished and torn down for shopping malls or what somebody else's vision of something, but it's no longer ours. And again, I believe we have to hold on as hard as we can to what is ours and then teach the generations what it was all about in the first place. So gentrification is happening across this country. And it breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. You know, I speak to you and ask you because I too want to know what can be done. Every person can make a difference. And I'm just, I hate what I see is taking place. However, the challenges that we have, we can overcome them, especially when we work together. And, God sees all. And
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah. So, is there anything that you would like to leave the viewers and listeners? Any kind of advice on anything? The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. And before I get to that though, when you say God sees all and knows all, I was I've had the privilege of doing a few plays, and when
Oh,
for colored girls who considered suicide when it first came out, a group of black women got together here, and we we formed a cast, and we um, um, did that play a couple of places
wow.
around the city. And I auditioned for. I just wanted to be in the play. I didn't care what role I had, but once I auditioned, woo, when Dan Hand and Veronica called me up, they were the directors, and when they called me up and said, "How would you like to play Lady Red?" I just about
Ooh.
fainted. So one of the lines that came from this was, "I found God in myself."
Mhm.
If I say anything today, I want people to understand on what you just said. God sees all.
Mhm.
God is in us, right? God is in us. We got to understand that we are the images of God. So that means we're
Yes.
powerful beyond measure. We do not look up in the sky and look all over the universe. We are the image of God. That's what the Spirit of God is about. It is in us. We've got to understand that. So we are more powerful than we can even imagine.
Mm.
Than we can even imagine. And I'm still dealing with that knowledge, right? That fact that God is in me, right? Okay,
Mm.
so now in terms of what my legacy or what I'd like to leave behind would be for my kids and my grandkids and my great grandkids
Oh.
that I did my best. I did my best. That I'm still a work in progress. I'm still working on myself.
Mm.
That they are powerful, that they can be and do what they can imagine, right?
Right.
I want my community to know. I want my community to know, especially the Black community, that
Okay.
I am doing my best, and that I want to see my community come together. Churches, organizations, nonprofits, business. I want us together so that our children and the next generations could see, have an example of what it means for Black people to sit down, fellowship, and reason together and come out with success stories.
Mm.
That's what I want to leave behind. That I had a little part in that we came together, and again, not cooperate and not compete. That's very important. Very important.
That is
Yeah.
powerful.
Yes.
And you are also one of the authors in the anthology that will be coming out soon called The Power of 33. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I hope that some of what you've discussed today will be inside of that book. I can't wait for the book. I can't wait to read your portion of this masterpiece. And it's really been an honor to interview you. And if you could tell us, how can people reach you if they want to reach out to you?
Say that again. You broke up a little
How,
bit.
I was asking, how can people reach out to you if they have a question or comment for you?
I can be reached at my email address, which is wsloan1 at charter.net.
Awesome. Awesome.
wsloan1 at charter.net. Yes.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, Wanda. This has been amazing. Um, You are definitely helping the community. I always say each one reach 10, you're reaching thousands of people and you're making a difference. You're not only talking the talk, you're walking the walk, and that's what legacy building is all about. So you're doing your part. So congratulations again.
Mhm. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, and I hope that we can follow up with you sometime in the future to see how you're doing. And we definitely look forward to reading your portion of The Power of 33. And if anyone has if anyone wants to learn more information about The Power of 33, please go to the website thepowerof33.com.
Uh,
Thank you so much, Wanda, and we will see you soon. Take care, okay?
See you soon. Take care of yourself as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, everyone, I had a great time. Oh, wow. I wish I could just sit and just listen to her and all the stories that she's gone through and experienced. I would just love to learn to listen. I love stories, and it's from someone who has gone through it and can create the legacy and is making a difference. I rather spend time learning than wasting time, really. That's who I am. And again, I am Coach Steffanie, and this is Beyond Boardroom Business. And until the next time you see me, please stay curious, stay inspired, and stay motivated. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your evening, rest of your weekend. And please tell your friends and family about this podcast. And I hope to see you all soon. Thank you.